and welcome back to Bodhi Unified Flow. Today, we are dissecting the engine of capital project execution. We will break down exactly how theoretical blueprints are converted into physical assets. This analysis has three distinct objectives. First, we will establish the theoretical foundation of stage gate governance. Second, we will sequence the 5 major process activities that dictate physical construction. And third, we will align the physical deliverables with formal gate outcomes. Every capital project faces a critical bottleneck, the moment investment shifts from intellectual planning to physical labor and materials. A pristine digital architectural blueprint must survive contact with an active construction site, a chaotic physical environment where theory meets the harsh reality of execution. Without a rigorous governance framework enforcing discipline, the compounding variables of weather, labor, and supply chains cause schedules to fracture and budgets to expand. To control this logistical risk, the heavy construction industry relies on a methodology codified by Robert G. Cooper in the late 1980s, the stage gate model. Looking at this timeline, you see how the model partitions a project lifecycle into distinct stages of work, separated by rigid decision checkpoints, or gates. This structure forces a process of progressive elaboration. As a project advances, technical detail must continuously increase, while the tolerance for ambiguity decreases. Notice the two curves mapping the timeline. Over time, the required capital investment steadily rises, while the degree of overall project risk falls. At each vertical gate, senior leadership and key stakeholders pause to evaluate specific deliverables against predefined KPIs and budgets. Based on that data, the committee authorizes one of 3 pathways: proceed, conditionally proceed, or kill and hold. These gates operate as corporate circuit breakers. They prevent an organization from committing millions of dollars in resources until the technical and financial viability of the prior stage is fully proven. In heavy industrial infrastructure, the final pre-construction review is known as the front-end loading, or FEL3 gate. This matrix aligns the industrial FEL3 framework with its architectural equivalent, REBA Stage 4. Both represent the culmination of pre-construction planning. Passing this threshold triggers a significant financial shift. The project stops buying engineering hours and starts buying steel, concrete, and physical labor. In the terminology of the Project Management Institute, we exit planning and enter the executing process group. Physical work begins. As the matrix highlights, this active execution phase correlates exactly to FEL4 and REBA Stage 5, classified as manufacturing and construction. Once unlocked, the site demands high-velocity, simultaneous management of procurement logistics, heavy equipment operations, and multidisciplinary contracting. Passing this pre-construction gate is the point of no return. Theoretical design is now entirely exposed to physical reality. To manage this reality, the execution phase relies on 5 major process activities, represented here by these 5 structural pillars. The first activity is site mobilization and logistics. This marks the day the contractor formally takes possession of the physical site. Mobilization requires establishing primary control points through precise surveying, laying down temporary utilities, and securing the perimeter. It also requires implementing a plan for use strategy. This dictates the exact routes heavy machinery will take, how materials will flow in, and how debris will flow out. The second activity is civil and structural works. This process establishes the physical anchor of the project. Teams secure the substructure by driving piles or pouring raft foundations, then build the superstructure by erecting load-bearing columns and masonry. The structural framework rises rapidly to support the subsequent phases of work, locking the facility's geometry into place. This leads directly into the third activity, enclosure, or the building envelope. This covers the installation of facade cladding, roofing, and weatherproofing. Completing the envelope achieves a milestone known as dry-in. The interior is now sealed from the elements, a prerequisite required before installing any weather-sensitive internal systems. With the structure watertight, we transition to the fourth activity, fit-out and MEP. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. This begins with the first fix. Crews run miles of concealed HVAC ducting, heavy electrical conduits, and pressurized piping through the walls and ceilings. Once the concealed systems are tested, The second fix applies the internal finishes. Switch plates are wired, plumbing fixtures are set, and final joinery is completed. Activity 5 is project controls. Notice how it forms an overarching layer across the pillars. It is an integrated, concurrent process, rather than a sequential step. Quality inspection, schedule monitoring, and cost management run simultaneously to police the physical work happening below. Without project controls, the physical activities would generate zero verifiable documentation, and without that data, it is impossible to pass the final exit gates. All of the data collected by project controls must satisfy strict exit criteria during the final evaluation phase. Looking at this interface, we see mechanical completion. This is the specific gate that verifies the physical construction identically matches the technical design specifications. Upon clearing mechanical completion, the project moves to substantial completion and commissioning. The static systems are energized and actively tested. Industrial turbines spin up, HVAC systems pressurize, and the facility experiences the sudden rush of physical kinetic energy. Operators push the equipment through seasonal commissioning, ensuring the asset performs safely under varying temperature and operational loads. These exit gates provide the empirical proof required to transform a raw, inert structure into an operationally sound asset that is safe for human occupation. The final administrative hurdle is handover, defined in the UK as REBA Stage 6. This marks the ultimate conclusion of the building contract. Legal and operational control is transferred directly to the owner, complete with the final building manual, warranty documentation, and maintenance schedules. This unified dashboard shows the entire sequence. The 5 process activities execute the physical work, generating the data required to clear the 3 major gate outcomes: mechanical, substantial, and handover. This interdependent execution engine provides the structure necessary to manage the compounding risks of scale, cost, and complexity. I am Dr. Mari Mufing. Thank you for joining me at Bodhi Unified Flow, where we simplify complexity and amplify performance. The data and frameworks discussed today are drawn from these established industry standards.